Well, well, well. Look who's back. It's me, finally. And I'm here today because I am way past due my 1.5 years lock update. The reason why I didn't come in for a 1.5 years lock update is because, one, got busy and tired, but also there wasn't a whole lot of huge changes. So a few of the constants for my locks have been my locks getting longer and fuller, the twist pattern continuing to fade, the frizz persists. There wasn't just like a whole lot of interesting things to say. I'm now 20 months locked. It's very exciting. For one, I have tried some new hairstyles. So I've got jumbo flat twists in right now. And the reason why I decided to finally start trying to do a few styles was mainly because of the main con of my locks, which is the frizz. I don't mind how the frizz looks. I love how it looks. It gives me lots of volume. But I end up playing with it so much that honestly, I'm annoying myself. So I wanted a hairstyle that really had my locks pulled back, tucked away from my hands. That's why I decided to try this. So it's not a super finessed hairstyle. I just did some jumbo flat twists. I'll show you the back. I've also seen people do kind of like braid out, twist out situations with their locks. And I even had a little bit of that when I had micro locks and used to braid and band my hair to wash it. So I'm hoping maybe I'll get a little bit of a crinkle in my locks when I take these down. I don't think there'll be a lot because I haven't had this style in very long. I still want to take it down because one of the problems that I had was I kind of did it a little too tight around the edges, and I don't want to have so much pull on my edges. So I know in one of my last videos I talked about water only washes. I haven't done a whole lot of those. I've just basically been doing regular washes for my hair. If my hair starts feeling itchy, like it needs to be washed, but it's not been that long since the last wash, I'll wash my hair one time instead of twice. Usually when I wash my hair, I'll wash it twice. Like every time you know what I'm trying to say. I do 2 washes. I've also stopped using quite as much oil on my hair, like that mixture of either the almond oil or the grapeseed oil with tea tree oil, but I've really toned that back just because it's ended up having my hair not feel as itchy. I don't know if it's a winter versus summertime thing. Also, I kind of wanted to lay off the oil a little bit just to try and see if that will help my locks mature. So another thing I'm hoping to get out of jumbo flat twist hairstyles is I'm hoping to be able to stretch my interlocking sessions, like the breaks between those, out longer, because hopefully I won't be playing with the roots with that loose hair down there, and the hair will just have more time to just kind of sit there and merge and not be just like messed with constantly. Like right now, my hair is about 5 weeks post interlocking. And I do want to try and stretch it for a 6th week here, which I have done once before, but it was right when I got the locks combined. So this will be the first time that I'm stretching it since then. Wow, okay. That's kind of cute. My hair's gotten longer, and I'm starting to notice now that it's getting a little long for the bonnet. I might have to get one of those long lock sock type bonnets. I think I actually have one because I bought it at the start of my lock journey. I was very excited for my hair to get longer. Now I'm like, am I excited about my hair getting longer? I kind of am, but I'm also starting to think about how eventually I might not want it any longer, you know? It is more work the longer it gets, and my hair grows really fast, so I might have to start thinking about making decisions like that. But I don't think that'll be for another couple years, probably. So what else is on my mind? I've been doing a lot of reading. If you follow me on my Instagram at AvanessaMusic, you will see that I am now kind of a casual bookstagrammer, and it's been super fun. I just finished reading a Halloween book called Payback's a Witch. It was really cute. It had a bisexual romance and black witches. You should definitely check that out. I also recently read Redemptor, which is book 2 in the Raybearer duology. And I'm going to fangirl here for a little bit because Raybearer is my absolute favorite fantasy book of all time. So I read Lord of the Rings when I was really young, and that pretty much launched my love of fantasy books. As I've gotten older, I was able to find fantasy writers who are Black women, and it's just been incredible. So Raybearer is... wow. The world building in that book is really fantastic. There's languages, songs. The main character is incredible. Tracy. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. That's what happens when you read a book and you never hear anyone say any of the words in it or names. The main character is a Black woman. There's asexual representation in the book as well, which is really cool. The world is not one of your typical European medieval type worlds. It's got a lot more of a global feel of different peoples and different cultures in the book, which I love. I really just enjoy kind of like that high fantasy type book. And I don't like the term high fantasy because it sounds elitist, but it is what it is. I really love like the high fantasy type books where the world, you can tell that the author put so much time into building it. It's really incredible. Yeah, that book is excellent. It just feels very majestic and grand. And it doesn't suffer from some of the issues that I think Lord of the Rings has, where the book and the plot really get slowed down by the songs that were like the little detours and stuff. I don't mind those, but I have heard people complain about that. So there you go. It's not in there. I also love how in Raybearer, well, actually, you know what? Let me just stop talking about it. You just need to go read it. And then for Redemptor, this is very much a non-spoiler commentary because you need to go read the book and then we can talk. In Redemptor, it is very much like Raybearer set up this world and then Redemptor lives in it. And I love that. It's kind of like Raybearer, you've got kind of this big picture where the author is setting up the world, getting you very interested and getting you accustomed to the songs, the magic, the characters, the social systems, everything. It's really cool. While also having an extremely compelling story and main character. And then in Raybearer, she's already done that. The author, Jordan Ifueko, has already done that. And so you can really take your time zooming in, like the main character, you get a peek into her brain. Very important commentaries on mental health, but also the specific type of stress that I believe Black women or maybe women of color in general have, where we kind of feel like we have to be in activist mode all the time and not taking a break to reach out for help when we need it. And so I thought that commentary was a really cool way of emotionally grounding the book. Even though it's a fantasy world, it makes it so present, so relevant to right now. So Raybearer was written over 12 years. Yeah, she started that book over a decade ago. And then Redemptor was written in 9 months. So you can definitely feel how it's like very present, even though it feels still like a really good escapist fantasy as well. I know not everyone's into fantasy books, but I figured since we're doing this like hair takedown, I might as well chat about something that I care about. If you don't care about the book, then you can just watch this on 1.5 speed or whatever and just see the hairstyle. Raybearer also has a very strong theme of chosen family, which I love. While Redemptor has a very strong theme of ethics and morality and like, what do we owe each other? Kind of like that Scanlon theory that was popularized by The Good Place. Love that show, by the way. That idea of like, should you set yourself on fire to warm the freezing earth kind of idea? Deep stuff. I really love how ideas like that can be explored in fantasy in a way that doesn't feel so close to reality that it's depressing. Oh, and if you end up reading Raybearer and Redemptor and you love them, you should also read Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, but I'm pretty sure I've already ranted about that in another video, so I won't do it again, although I definitely could, but yeah, I won't. More cool, like, Black magic, and I mean Black magic in the sense of, like, magic connected to Black ancestors, okay? So, cool stuff. All right, what else have I been reading? What are y'all reading? Are you reading any cool things? Like, let me know if you've got any fantasy recommendations. Be super into that. Another fantasy book I read somewhat recently is The Rave by J.R. Tross. I really liked that one as well. You can see my whole review for that book on my Instagram at Alphaness Music. But if you don't like fantasy books but do like reading, I also read other books, some rom-coms, and the Payback's a Witch is kind of like a crossover between like a folky type fantasy and also like a meet cute rom-com, which I think it maybe was trying to do a little bit too much, but it was very light and cute. So if you don't like the high fantasy type books where it's got like a whole ass map at the beginning of the book and like several languages and stuff, which is Raybearer, like let's be real, like that's the type of stuff I like. But it's also really captivating for reasons I already went over and I won't go over again because I've nerded out way too much about the book already. It's never too much. Okay, so I really liked Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Also can't remember the name of that author. Maybe I'll just like insert it on the screen somewhere. This is now a booktube video. Just kidding, don't go if you're here for Locs. I am always down for book suggestions. No horror though, I get scared too easily. Ooh, there's a lot of new growth on that one. This is turning out pretty cute though. One of the other things I really liked about, I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not sorry. I love these books and I'm not ashamed. So another thing I loved about the Raybearer to Redemptor comparison is that it really reminded me of some music I like. Ooh, wow, Alphaness Music, talking about music for once. One of my favorite artists is Porter Robinson. He made a very famous album in the EDM circles called Worlds, and it took him 7 years to release a new one called Nurture. And Worlds has a very like majestic, grand world building feel to it. He said he kind of was inspired by the idea of like worlds in a video game, how they're all their own unique thing and unique set of people and connections, and how like if the game stops being maintained, then that world just like goes away, which is kind of a really cool concept. But Nurture is also wonderful, and it's very different in the fact that it feels less zoomed out and less like majestic and kind of like universe view, and it feels more like close, intimate, speaking about mental health, speaking about like love and loss and that sort of thing. And because I love both fantasy books and music, I really felt that connection. And if you're into that, you can read my review again on my Instagram. This is not a plug for my Instagram, I swear. I just ended up talking about books, and I also talk about books on my Instagram. A lot of these locks ended up being like, the ends did not stay in the locks. Was hoping they would stay in the locks since I wasn't messing with it as much, but that's why I'm having to do all this wrapping. And then these poor hairs in the front are pretty dry, so I'm gonna give them a little spray. And my spray bottle has not really changed. It has tea tree oil, lavender oil, and water, and that's it. Wow, I love the crinkle. It does feel pretty dry though. Might be the lack of oil. But yeah, I do feel like now filming this video, it's more like noticeable that my hair has grown, which is why I love doing like the lock journey videos, is because looking back, like I can actually see growth, whereas sometimes like day to day, you don't really see growth from one day to the next day, but you can see growth from one video to the next video months later. So yeah, lots of loose hair. My hair has really been trying me with escaping from the locks and growing out of the locks, but because they are now small locks and not micro locks, I'm a little less worried about them merging to the point where I can't get them cleaned up. Quite long. I love that crinkle. It's not much, but again, I only had that in for like a day, so much for this. See this? This is what I don't like. I've thought about trimming that part off so many times, but I just always wrap it back around the lock. Has anyone had that? And what did you do? Did you end up trimming it? Did you just wrap it around the lock forever, perpetually, until the end of time? Or did you like figure out some other method? I do know, and I heard this on Lillian Okibi's channel, like you know, I love her stuff, is that you're supposed to like slide the bulk of the hair up the lock and then only wrap a little, like one hair around the rest of it. But some of my locks have gotten to the point now where like the hairs are like knotted together. They're knotted together, but it's in like a small thing, so I can't like slide them apart. And I don't know, it's just a whole deal. So let me know if you've had that and if you ended up trimming them or what. So let's take a look at some of the parts here. Definitely gonna have to clean that one up a bunch. It's time to interlock. All right, I've gone on long enough here, you guys. So I'm gonna go. This is my hair at 20 months. I'm super happy with locks as per usual. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings on books and music, and if you did, let me know because I like talking about that stuff and I would love to make dedicated videos for that. See, I'm probably gonna be playing with this for like an hour now after I turn this camera off. This is why I had it tied up. This is why I had it tied up. Alrighty. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video at all, please go ahead and like and subscribe. And I make other videos on other stuff sometimes, and I will see you another time.